Rightio guys, thanks for joining in. This is another episode of Making Lures, of course. And yeah, so it's the Jackall Pompadour. This one here is the first one I ever bought. It's got, you know, a crack in it now. It's not very nice. It's a bit worse for wear. So what I'm going to do is going to actually remove some of these parts and reuse them in this build. So a lot of the design references came from this lure because I'm just trying to replicate this exact lure. So that's pretty much it, really. We're going to pull this one apart eventually once we're ready for those bits, and we'll start with the build. I've got a little stencil drawn up here of that one, which some of you might have seen on my Instagram already. I've got some suggestions for colours and things like that. Still haven't made my mind up yet, but we'll go from there. Step one, cut out your stencil. Both top and side profiles I've done. The top and the bottom are fairly similar, so I've just left them the same. And I've traced that onto this block of wood, which I've cut out already. That's pretty much it. So that's the side profile cut. I'll put the top profile on here now, which will mean I'm going to measure up the center line again, which I think I've done already. Yes. Here's my top profile. Whoops. Now, looking not too bad at the moment. I've got a few holes drilled. It took me ages and ages to sand this back to this point. Still not finished yet. Still got a little bit of stuff in here to go. I might actually fill some of this with some super glue and baking soda, just because it's not exactly the shape that I want, but it's pretty close indeed. And obviously you probably saw the bandsaw incident earlier where I've got to do some repairs. That was a bit of a noob error on my part, actually, so you know, I'll just fix that up, and yeah, that's pretty much it, really. We'll see how we go. Yeah, I'll keep sanding up for a while. I'll get back to you when I'm ready to start filling. Also, I did the hole for the prop tail, so basically I just put a 2.5mm hole in the wood, and then use my little burr grinder there, like a triangular sort of piece, or like a diamond shaped piece. You know, just bored in there a bit, try to keep as much material in there as possible, because obviously that's probably one of the weakest points in the lure now. So yeah, I'm not too sure if that will last very long, but we'll see how we go. If it hooks up to something and destroys itself, then there's your answer. Probably got to film this more. Sorry, bit of shit on the lens. Drilled a little hole in the bottom here, about 1.5mm, jammed the screw in, and there's your little hole cavity for the screw to go through. I am going to glue that in. That's the prop tail sorted. One twist eye done. pliers out, make a little loop here. Starting to look alright. It's made a start. Bit of healing going. Okay, changes I've made is I have filled up this. As you can see, I actually made a twist wire to put the prop end in. I'm not confident that that is going to hold. I think it'll just break. So I have changed it up to make it more suitable for a timber lure. And I've got a twist wire there, so that's going to go in fine. It's about as much as I could put in without going all the way through and making a mess of things, so I've done that. So yeah, I've marked out a starting point for where I'm going to put the wings on it, and I'm going to drill some holes in a second and we'll go from there. Bang, eh? Them bad boys are in. Made it as close to centerline as I possibly could, just trying to figure it out by eye and referencing off this one here. So that's pretty much it. Got to seal this up now and glue in all the hook points and toe points. So beautiful. Rightio, so you guys have not been kept up to date well with this lure build, I must say. I've forgotten to film a couple of times, a bunch of details missed, but I'll speed you right up now and get you up to date. So I put both of the anchor points for the wings on. I've put the wings on just temporarily. I put some hooks and rings on them just to start with, and swam test there. So I swam test it with weight in the hole first, and it didn't swim nearly as well. It sank a little bit too much. Without weight, it was much better. Once I refill this up hole, I'll have a tiny bit of weight in there, which might affect it a little bit, but I don't think it's going to be an issue. Pretty good there. So I'm going to fill that hole again, and then basically I'm going to pull all the hardware off it again, and then after that I'll just do some basic sanding, getting it ready for painting, and then I'll be painting it. So yeah, once I'm getting ready to paint, once I've finished painting it, I should say, I'm going to put some probably some ball-headed or pan-headed screws on the top here, just to hold the wings a little bit more parallel, like this. As at the moment, when they're like too close together like this, they'll get stuck together, which is pretty much why I believe, or the original Pompey has those on them, if you see that. So basically I'll just be putting a screw in that's going to create that little ball there to keep the wings open a little bit more. That's pretty much it. So yeah, that's all we got to really do now, is just get it ready for painting, and that's pretty much it. So yeah, nearly ready to go. Masked up heaps. Done a bit of taping and painting and all that fun stuff. I went with just another black and white style, similar to one of the other surface lures I did, only I've left a section where it's going to be nude. So just raw wood finish on the flanks. I'm going to clear coat over the top of that, and some sort of bee inspired eyes in black. I'm going to let this dry for a bit. I've got the little radiator on there, the little heater. That's going to, sort of touch dry in about 10 or 15 minutes or so. I've given it a bit of a heat set already anyway, but I'm just going to leave it sit for a while. This paint tends to be quite soft, and it peels off quite easily when you play with it too early. So I even left the white base overnight. I did 2 coats. I don't think I need to do more than 1 coat on these black eyes here. I was going to be clear coating over the top of that a few times and stuff like that. So just mainly detail. That's the sort of bee inspired eyes that I was talking about. Yeah, I might add some red pupil or something like that in there. either with a needle or something like that. Not too sure yet, but yeah, we'll see how it looks when I get it, when it's touch dry, and we can remove all of the masking off it. Well, yeah, so I'm gonna remove the mask now and see how it all looks. Got to clean up some little bits, but other than that, it's looking pretty cool. So it's got like that grain pattern in here, sort of resembling a bee's tail, I guess. That's the vibe I was going for. And you got the bees inspired eyes. Thanks to Tommy Reber for the inspiration, turning it into a giant bee. A bit of a funky bee, but doing the best with what I got. The eyes are a little bit wonky, but just look at it one side at a time. Pretty cool. So all in all, I'm really happy with how this lure build turned out. I'm really keen to get out on some proper water along with my other lures that I've homemade to see how they perform and hopefully get a couple of fish on them. You might have also noticed actually that the paint scheme's completely changed on this lure, as you can see. However, the reason for that is the clear coat on the first paint job failed. You'll see a picture up here I'll leave for you. If you've been following my Instagram, you would have seen that already, but yeah, that's that. So I repainted it in that scheme, a little bit more simplistic, but I think that it came out pretty good considering I'm just using spray cans and that's it. So yeah, pretty good there. If you're like me and in lockdown and looking forward to getting out for a fish again, drop a like on this one. Also leave me a comment down below where you're thinking of going and what you're thinking of chasing. I'll leave some links up here for other videos that you can consume while we're waiting for that to happen. Subscribe and ring the bell to be notified when I upload new videos, guys. Thanks so much. Just keep flicking.